Good morning, gamers. If there's anything that I hate, it is wasting time. In particular, wasting time grinding for void shards when it can be done so much faster. It always feels like such a waste of time. So I actually dove right in. I tried out all the different void missions you can do, all the different fragments, and I can tell you guys which ones you should be doing and how much you can expect from them. With some of these missions going for up to 600 shards an hour, assuming you're about as fast as I am, or maybe even faster. But I figured we'd just dive right into it, starting off, of course, with the Monomer Shards. So, as for the Monomer Shards, you're gonna want Bunny. It's because you want to run the electric void fragment missions. Now, obviously, all of these have to be on hard because you get about three times as much void shards by completing one of these missions. The first one is, of course, the void fragment mission here in the mining site. Now, this is it's not the best one, but I do want to give it a quick shout. So as you can see here, it takes about 1 minute. I actually got this one down to 1 minute 15 seconds, which is pretty solid. Definitely gonna update my notes for that one, but there's still way faster ones, and I would probably say that, yeah, you can get 14 monomer doing this, but there's way better ones out there. There's also the Rockfall one, also in Stereoland. So as you can see, this one takes about, it wasn't my fastest run, but about 1 minute 38 seconds, 1 minute 40 seconds for this one in Rockfall. Not perfect, but definitely a viable contender. But it, compared to the #1 spot for grinding Monomer Shards, the one that will let us get about 40 runs per hour, depending on how fast you are, and about 480 monomer an hour, is of course all the way up in Fortress. Right here, we're looking at the void fragment over in Fallen Ark. This thing is genuinely insanely good. Also a quick shout, of course, to having a group either by playing in publics or by playing up in a pre-made. I'm playing all this in private since I want to have a fair benchmark. Obviously, if I have random teammates that help me out, it won't be a fair estimate to how fast you can actually run it, because I won't have the same teammates, or sometimes I won't have teammates at all when I join a lobby. But obviously running this one in public will be considerably faster. Well, let's just get into it. So this one also has a specific strat. I can't do it because of my current build, but if you have a larger size, like ability size, you can just stand on this box and the AoE from your third ability will actually reach this side of the cave, which is pretty great. It will save a lot of time by doing that. You can also just stand on this side, have your third ability on, and then if you have a thunder cage like I do, shoot the soldiers like this, and the chain effect will just kind of kill all of them. So a lot of different ways you can choose to optimize it, but by far this only has 2 lanes. Makes it very simple, very straightforward, and as you will see in a little bit, very fast. We are looking at, per run, about 52 seconds, so well under a minute. The one I had written down was, I believe, man, okay, yeah, I beat my own record. So in my my old record was at 1 minute and 6 seconds. This one is at 50 seconds. So you could probably squeeze in, I don't know, just a quick head math, napkin math, which is probably incorrect. Let's say 50 runs an hour, which is like 600 or so monomer shards an hour, which is pretty great. Definitely a big recommendation from me if you want to just power grind this, just lock it in. Again, you want to go to the Fallen Ark and run the void fragment mission there. Now, moving on, I want to talk about Polymer. This one is going to be a lot faster because there's not really that many options for Polymer. If you aren't aware, almost all the polymers in the game are locked behind these void fragments that are chill only. As you can see here, you can get 11 polymer from this one, for example. I believe this one is also chill, would give you 13 polymer, but they're all locked behind chill. The problem is that, as far as I know, I don't have chill myself, but I ran it with a viewer who also I do play with a lot. And he showed me his run, and honestly, it doesn't not seem to be that fast. Most of the chill, might also be because of Viesa, but most of the chill void fragment missions are pretty ineffective. They have a lot of lanes, a lot of spawns, and it's hard to clear them fast. We're looking for sub 2 minutes, maybe even sub 1 minute runs. Now, thankfully, and I'm assuming you have a fire Descendant by now, or if you don't have one, I would suggest getting Blair, or maybe even Lepic. We'll get to Lepic in a second. And that's because there is one Void Fragment mission in the game where you don't need Chill, and it will actually give you Polymer as well, which is this one over here, over in Lost Supply Depot. And again, all you need is a fire for this, you don't need a Chill. And it's very straightforward. Now we also get to soft launch a build I have been working on. It's still a work in progress. I've been obsessed with the idea of this build probably for the last week or so. I'm not very good at making builds, so we're still learning. But basically, I call it Lepic Clear, and it's all about clearing. We're going to be using it a lot, especially for these void fragments. Do not mind the fact I have no health. I just recently leveled him up. But you should still get to see just how fast this run can be. Yes, and the Polymer run with Lepic can be a little over a minute, 1 minute 20, 1 minute 10, depending how fast you are. It really just depends on how good you are at Lepic and where you build this. But I just love combining the Thunder Cage with his suction ability, and it will roll them. It will just roll them. They're a little bit spaced out on this one, not that you have an option. And just, the reason I love this build is, of course, because the Thunder Cage will proc on a death, and seeing as there are about 20 solas in one spot, or even more, there's a lot of deaths at the same time, and these will cause a chain reaction and deal a hell of a ton of damage. It will even take out high health targets, and with a longer duration, you will even get a you will even be able to get many kills, many waves within one ability. Now, again, this is a soft launch. I haven't figured out the details. If you guys have tips for how we can make this build better, I'm always open to suggestions. But I'm really excited to eventually figure out a way to make it a lot faster. Like, that is just so fast. So damn fast. And we got through this thanks to this build in part to that, in about 1 minute and 14 seconds, so even faster than the one I had marked down. So I would say this is about 40 runs an hour, 500 or so Polymer an hour, just by grinding the specific one. When I'm saying this also, I am factoring, and obviously the calculation for how many polymers or runs per hour also factors in the 20-second spawn time that all of these have. So I'm still factoring that in. Without that, we could probably get quite a way higher number, but obviously it would be irrelevant. But that's how you get, this is the fastest way to get Polymer, assuming you have fire. If you have Chill, I don't recommend it. I recommend getting a fire. You should have a fire legend either way, or Descendant, sorry. Moving on, we're going to talk about Inorganic. Now, this is where you want Freyna. If you have watched my videos, you already know that you want a Freyna. She is pretty good. She is also the only way, or rather, you need a toxic Descendant to be able to actually get the high value inorganic runs, inorganic void fragment missions, and you need to, I believe you need to have Freyna for that, or at the very least she's the easiest one to get. First and foremost, we want to talk about shipment base in White Knight Gulch. Also, it's possible my strats aren't really the best here, so you guys are free to tell me if I could improve on them. But I feel like, especially on Freyna, I feel like I have not... My build on Freyna isn't the best either, so there's definitely a lot of room for improvement, and take this with a grain of salt, but you will see, once we're done by this, that I'm probably still right on which one is the optimal one to play. So either way, this one has 2 spawns. The reason I don't like this one too much is because I have one spawn all the way over here and one spawn all the way over there. So if you're running a Thunder Cage, which I still think is the best for mobbing and clearing, you will not get to fight them at the max range. Rather, you will be outside of your range, damage fall off, and not be able to get max damage. And you're gonna have to run between the spots no matter what you do. And faster than I normally would run it. But this run still takes 2 minutes, under 2 minutes, so this is definitely not ideal. The next 2 we have is in the Echo Swamp, and these all suffer from one big problem. Maybe that's just me and my PC, but it's worth mentioning. The frame rates are absolutely atrocious. They are incredibly laggy. I probably get about half my normal frame rate, as you can see in the top left corner. It is just not ideal if you want to be able to actually hit all your shots consistently. But we'll also explain why I really don't like this one as well. And the main reason, starting off, is that not only are the enemies kind of spaced out, or at least look at the frames, Jesus, but they spawn one at a time from one side each. This one is definitely the worst by far. And doing a full run, it wasn't a perfect run, but it was solid. A full run probably takes about even over 3 minutes, I would probably say. So this thing is in the dumpster. Do not play, do not do the derelict covered void mission fragment. So moving on, we have abandoned zone over in Echo, also in Echo Swamp. It is over here. This is the one I used to grind a bunch myself. It does have some decent spawns. You have this clump of spawns right here, and of course this one over here, the door. And they do, at the very least, not come out one at a time. Well, they do, but it's faster. And you still have this whole clump here, so you can just focus on that. And then you gotta jump down here in case AoE. I'll just play the spot if you're gonna play this one. And that's it. And this run took about 1 minute 42 seconds. Not too shabby, but there is one more out here which I believe is the best one, the most optimal one for toxic and of course for inorganic, and that is Mountain Top, which we were gonna hop on over right now. It's over in White Night Gulch. A little bit of an awkward rotation, so ideally you would want to do this one many times at the same time, you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't just go here and do this once just for a handful of materials. Ideally you would go here if you want to power level it, otherwise it might actually end up being worth running, for example the one we just ran. Alright, so let me show you guys this one. This is definitely the fastest out of the two. The previous one was pretty solid as well, but this one just comes down, if you know the waves good enough and you play this particular spot right here, you just try to stay there as much as you can. The enemies will always path in clumps towards you, which means you can just kind of sit back and shoot at them. And if you're using a Thunder Cage, which I very much recommend, you'll be able to get that AoE damage and just kind of destroy them very, very fast. Of course, you can also slam this guy so he doesn't hold his shield up and cost you a lot of time, because he will. It's pretty damn annoying. Oops. So there you go. Even with the little death at the very end, we still got this one knocked out in about 1 minute and 42 seconds. So if you played very much efficiently, you could probably get this to 130 with the right build, the right strats, or in a stack. You can definitely get this down a lot more, because there's only 2 lanes they can come from, and they come in a certain sequence. Definitely a lot faster than the previous one. So that's the fastest one you can do for Freyna. And I would say you can probably run about 29 to 30 runs an hour, which will give Nietzsche about 377 inorganic an hour. But this is probably my skill with Freyna being a bottleneck. If I'm gonna be honest, you can probably, again, get it a lot faster. So now there's one more material left that we need to go over, and that is the organic void shards. There's one that is incredibly fast here, especially if you strategize the right way using Lepic. We're just gonna dive straight into it, starting off with Hatchery. It's right here. But we're gonna have to swap to Lepic as well. To Lepic clear. This being a pretty high level zone, it's pretty late in the story, so in most cases, except for that one in electric, then it's pretty the enemies are gonna be more difficult. It's gonna be less filler enemies. We cleared this one in 2 minutes and 1 second, so it's definitely not my favorite. So moving on, we have the one in the storage. I'm not a big fan of this one. As you will see here, there are a lot of split spawns. You can probably learn how to optimize it, because you can actually get a solid time on this one. But it's very split, a lot of different ones. There's a 1 point here, there's 1 point here, 1 point here, and 1 point here. So even though it might be fairly fast when done properly, there is a lot of angles to check, look out for. So it becomes pretty, when you're doing this one a lot, over the course of an hour, you're hard grinding. If it would be, the amount of effort it requires might not be worth it for you, but and there is also a decent amount of high level enemies, so pretty annoying to deal with. But as I said, this one takes a little while. You can get it in a decent time. It's just a lot of high level enemies, and it's, like I said, 4 or 5 spawns, and you can clear this in about 1 minute, 1.5. In this case, we got it in 1:39, which is a way better run than I normally get. But honestly, I think I'm just doing it for the cameras. When I was benchmarking them, we were definitely doing a lot worse. But overall, we're still doing all of them better. So it's fine. We're gonna move on to the next, which is of course the corrupted zone. Now I kind of like the corrupted zone one because it has 2 lanes, 3 spawns but 2 lanes. They kind of do bunch together, especially when you use your V. And you kind of, if you use your cooldowns wisely, you can clear this fairly fast with a epic. And then use my cooldowns as much as I would want there, but we still got it in a decent amount of time. We got it in 1 minute and 15 seconds, so still faster than the previous one. Also, again, faster than what I've written down. There is then 2 more I would like to go over that you could do. There's a Muskeg Swamp and Echo Swamp. This one is pretty solid. Again, 3 spawns, maybe 4 spawns, but they always come from one direction. It's pretty straightforward the way it works, so it's not too taxing to go through it. That's the Muskeg Swamp. Pretty fast. I was actually surprised with how well we got that one. We got it in just under a minute, 59 seconds. And you might think, wow, this has to be the fastest one. No, there's actually one that is even faster. This is the best way you can grind organic void shards, and that of course is June base in Hagios. When done right, seeing as there are only 2 enemy lanes, you can clear this out pretty damn fast. So obviously we gotta start it. Seriously? Seriously. Either way. I would probably do this a lot faster. You just want to play this pillar, but I would definitely clear this a lot faster if I wasn't level 24. And didn't have to worry about dying. Obviously I get one shot by anything I do now, but despite dying, we still got this done in 53 seconds. My own record being 50 seconds. You could probably get it even down farther with the right build. I'm currently, so to give you guys more information of the one I'm soft building right now, we got regenerative braking, probably gonna get MP collector. And then we just want to gas out cooldown, we want to gas out duration and a little bit of range just to make the most of the V ability, do it in combo with the Thunder Cage, but that's not why we're here. Assuming you can get this down to 50 seconds per run or even lower, you will get at least 50 runs an hour, which means you can get 600 organic shards an hour by efficiently running June base. And out of all of the ones out here, and that's thanks again it being 2 lanes, out of all of the different options out there, this is definitely the fastest way to get shards in the game at this moment. Nothing really comes close. But obviously it's gonna be hard if you are level 24, so maybe do it when you're full level, or you're gonna get one shot by basically anything there is out there. But that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because we're not here for any of that. That one was definitely not as fast. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you found it valuable, hit that like, subscribe, and check out the video on the screen, because it's a banger. Like, you're even better at the game. Maybe better than me, who keeps dying to these random ads just shooting me in the back because I'm low level. It happens. Anyways, see you all next time. Bye.